What do you love most about being on the spectrum? Like, what do you think is the best part of that? And has that changed over time? Because maybe you hated it when you were a little kid, but now you're like, this is awesome.
Well, actually, what I love most about the spectrum is, and about me, has always been pretty consistent. I love being able to sort of find things I love and like focus on them, and those special interests that I get like become like passions, and those things can often become careers for people.
That's
I'm
my
obsessed
business.
with film and television, and that, you know, I've made that into a career for myself. You know, I do acting and writing, and I just love that. I don't know what my least favorite things are, but maybe just the way that society treats us is my least favorite thing, which is not really a part of who I am, but really just a way that the world operates.
I love how much you like you. It makes me like you extra too.
Thanks.
You like figured it out. It's really cool. What's the thing now that you kind of have this weird gift dropped in your lap? What's your favorite thing about being on the spectrum?
It's given me a way to not like feel like, why am I so obsessed with like animals, science, and art? And it's made me want to be better at it because it's like that's basically my gift. Like I look at it as a positive more than negative. You know, people I would meet and possibly try to be friends with, they would notice that I was obsessed over things and they would like act like it was like they were annoyed by it. But now I'm like, no, it's not something bad. It's something that I should like hone into more.
And I know it's
You
like
know?
two sides of the same coin, but what are the things that maybe even before your diagnosis you were like embarrassed about or wish would go away or you could just like get rid of from your personality?
I would say like not understanding like the social cues. That's something I've always
The worst.
battled with, trying to fit in. And it was never about fitting in. It was always about just being myself and fitting into who I was.
Yeah.
And that was basically how I had to like break it down. And you know, and I became this quirky person, but I love being quirky, and that's what makes me me. We kind of like walk at our own drum of our own beat. Just continue that. You don't have to be like everyone else. Just live your life, have fun, go with the flow. Because I know being on the spectrum, like sometimes we don't go with the flow, but just go with the flow.
I always say I'm the least laid back person.
Yeah.
I'm not chill.
Nope, I have no chill.
Yeah,
Chill.
and don't let anything. You don't have to have any boundaries. You don't have to set any limits for yourself. It's, you know, the sky is the limit.
The more that I become aware of being on the spectrum and the more I see things and am talking to people, the more I realize how much it's really given me my own perspective and how much I don't rely on other people. Like I really feel a lot more self-motivated in a lot of ways. And I just appreciate that. I agree with you with the thing that you don't like, which is just, it's just like how people take you and that this world isn't made out. But also meltdowns, I think, are the hardest thing. Not hardest thing, but just like, not fun at all. Like I've never cut before, but I have a lot of problems with like I like the impact thing. I have a very high pain threshold, so I can really hurt myself and like slam myself into walls.
I do that too.
Yeah, because like you like
my
need the
issue.
physical pressure release.
Yeah.
And it's like if I don't do that, then I'm gonna continuously be on a meltdown.
It's like it's
I
hard
feel
to
this-
make it stop.
And you don't see it coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is actually why I got the dog. I've trained him to notice the signs of that, and he'll start pawing at me before I even realize that like I'm getting anxious, and so I can just leave or do something like long before like the meltdown would hit.
I did horse therapy. And one of the things when I worked with the horses is there are these weird physical triggers I have. One of them is right before a meltdown, I can feel my hamstrings get like shorter. I've trained myself to say I have to go to the bathroom, like even if I don't have to go to the bathroom, because I know, like even if we were in the middle of filming, I'm like, okay, bad things are gonna happen. I'm gonna say something stupid. I'm gonna do something stupid. Like this is not gonna be good. Gots to go.
Totally, and it is important to know that, and it's just so frustrating when you're in a situation that's not okay, that's not allowed. Like especially like at school, you can't just be like, it'll be best if I take myself out of this scenario right now. It'll be best for both of us. I'm just going, you know what I mean?
I just leave.
You
know.
do too, yeah.
Is that like what we like? If we feel like we're gonna have a meltdown or it's building up, is it good to like we just walk out the house or the room and just take a walk and just try to like put ourselves in a different space.
Yeah, because taking a walk, I feel like always helps, you know?
Yeah.
And I can just be like, you know, I gotta go on a walk with him.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
really good. I'm
And
really,
then like he's like pawing at me, so it's like easy to say, oh, that's his sign that he needs to go. You know, even though it's actually pawing is his sign that he's noticed my breathing is changing.
He's like, let's get out of this building and take a walk.
I have people usually around me that I can tell who can help, but it's like not 100% of the time. And I think in some weird ways, it's almost worse because I have a bunch of coping skills now that I've maybe, like since my diagnosis, so maybe in the last 7 years, I've developed these coping skills. But then when they don't work, it feels like it's even worse because now people expect more of me.
Right.
I definitely am at a point where I don't hate it about myself anymore because like I like deeply hated almost everything about myself except that I was smart and obsessed with weird things like self-help books and certain bands. But like I hated myself so much, and then now the thing is I have these coping skills which makes me really proud of myself when I use them, but then when I don't, it's like it just there's something grueling about it.
I feel like afterwards, I feel so embarrassed. I don't know. It's like, why did that have to happen? Like, why couldn't I just like center myself and just went on a walk or did something?
My like people would always say to me, just relax, breathe. And I'm like, that doesn't work for me.
I hate when people tell me to breathe. I'm like, well, I mean, I'd be dead if I weren't breathing,
Right.
first of all, because like that's like literally like a requirement.
One of our authors did a book that I think I helped her title it, but if not, I just love the title. It's Don't Tell Me to Relax.
Yeah.
Because literally nothing makes me want to throat punch someone more than when I'm in a meltdown and they're telling me to relax. I'm like, well, that's one way to make it worse.
It's like, what if I could? You think I'm enjoying this right now? Don't know.
You feel like there are things that still come up, things that you're working on, or are you kind of content with where you're at in your journey?
I always feel like I'm a work in progress, and you know, I just think that's a positive way to look at life in general because you can always improve. You know, I'm always looking for ways to make my life better, make me better, be a better person. I mean, and not all of it has to do with autism. Some of it has to just be with being more understanding and more sensitive, you know, and like neurotypical people aren't perfect either. In fact, in a way, we're more perfect, not. But like, you know, like
Maybe not.
we've got all these gifts.
What do you think about what's your relationship to the concept of empathy?
I think what's misunderstood about empathy, and very misunderstood with empathy and autism and people like us, is that like empathy is this singular thing, which is that you can see it. Empathy is a feeling, and what we have trouble doing is showing feelings. So when people say we lack empathy, they might think that means we lack the feeling of empathy, when in reality what that actually means is we lack the ability to show it.
If I could press the neurotypical button tomorrow, no.
No, of course not. Because
Do you feel that way?
No way.
entirely who you are. I would be a completely different human then. Like, I wouldn't be myself. They're one and the same. They come together.